They're doing a presentation that's pretty similar to what Steve presented, but I can also include some more personal anecdotes as well. So, could I screen share from here? Or, um, can you guys all see my screen? Okay. Okay. So this is like my take on building social and communication skills as well as goal setting. Okay. So just to like define things, social communication is connecting with others, listening, speaking clearly, and with your body language, as well as just like how you engage with other people. Um, to include a statistic, 86% of employees blame poor communication on workplace failures. I think if you are like hoping to succeed or get like achieve a goal, like communication is key. Also, um, goal setting, which is like planning your future, staying focused and building confidence. Again, I think it's really important to, like Steve mentioned, like set your SMART goals and really know like what you're trying to achieve. And then a statistic is that employees who set goals are 14.2 times more likely to feel inspired. Um, I like goal setting because I think it really helps me to stay motivated because I always have something I'm working towards. So it really allows me to focus my attention on different goals that I want to achieve. Sorry, okay, make sure I can still hear me. Um, okay, so something that I find really important is building strong social communication skills. Some strategies include active listening, open body language, practicing empathy, and speaking up. I think speaking up is also very important because sometimes if you have certain challenges like within your classes and things like that, if you don't speak up, then like, there's not much that you can do to change the situation. For example, this past year, I was like in my math class, and my calculus teacher, she like I had a few incidents with her where like she would kind of be very like hostile towards me and like other students. And I kept noticing these things, but I didn't speak up because like I felt like she was my teacher and I cared about the grade that I got. Like over time I realized that like it's important to really prioritize like making sure that this doesn't happen to other kids. So like I did end up speaking up and saying something to the administration because I really wanted to communicate to them like what was going on. I just think it's important to speak up and really like realize like what's important to you. And also eye contact is really important. When you're talking to someone, you never want to like look up or look down, even though you might find that easier. You want to maintain strong eye contact so they know that you're listening, you're paying attention, but also that you're confident. Because like when I'm speaking to someone and like they're kind of looking at the floor, like I can kind of tell that they're not very confident. And if you're like interviewing for a job or like talking to a teacher, you definitely want to come off like very confident and secure with yourself. This is a video. Do we have time to play this? I'm gonna just play it really quick. It's only like 4 minutes long. Can you guys hear it, by the way?
Yeah, we can see.
Oh, I don't think I can hear it. How do
We
I?
cannot hear.
It's
Do
silent.
you know how
It's
it's?
paused, so it would be silent.
But there's like sound playing when I just play it.
Oh, yeah, there is a problem. Sorry.
Oh, share computer sounds. Okay, let's try it.
You ever talked with a friend about a problem?
Good. Okay.
Have you ever talked with a friend about a problem, only to realize that he just doesn't seem to grasp why the issue is so important to you? Have you ever presented an idea to a group and it's met with utter confusion? Or maybe you've been in an argument when the other person suddenly accuses you of not listening to what they're saying at all. What's going on here? The answer is miscommunication, and in some form or another, we've all experienced it. It can lead to confusion, animosity, misunderstanding, or even crashing a multi-million-dollar probe into the surface of Mars. The fact is, even when face-to-face with another person, in the very same room and speaking the same language, human communication is incredibly complex. But the good news is that a basic understanding of what happens when we communicate can help us prevent miscommunication. For decades, researchers have asked what happens when we communicate. One interpretation, called the transmission model, views communication as a message that moves directly from one person to another, similar to someone tossing a ball and walking away. But in reality, this simplistic model doesn't account for communication's complexity. Enter the transactional model, which acknowledges the many added challenges of communicating. With this model, it's more accurate to think of communication between people as a game of catch. As we communicate our message, we receive feedback from the other party. Through the transaction, we create meaning together. But from this exchange, further complications arise. It's not like the Star Trek universe, where some characters can Vulcan mind meld, fully sharing thoughts and feelings. As humans, we can't help but send and receive messages through our own subjective lenses. When communicating, one person expresses her interpretation of a message, and the person she's communicating with hears his own interpretation of that message. Our perceptual filters continually shift meanings and interpretations. Remember that game of catch? Imagine it with a lump of clay. As each person touches it, they shape it to fit their own unique perceptions based on any number of variables, like knowledge or past experience, age, race, gender, ethnicity, religion, or family background. Simultaneously, every person interprets the message they receive based on their relationship with the other person and their unique understanding of the semantics and connotations of the exact words being used. They could also be distracted by other stimuli, such as traffic or a growling stomach. Even emotion might cloud their understanding. And by adding more people into a conversation, each with their own subjectivities, the complexity of communication grows exponentially. So as the lump of clay goes back and forth from one person to another, reworked, reshaped, and always changing, it's no wonder our messages sometimes turn into a mush of miscommunication. But luckily, there are some simple practices that can help us all navigate our daily interactions for better communication. 1. Recognize that passive hearing and active listening are not the same. Engage actively with the verbal and nonverbal feedback of others and adjust your message to facilitate greater understanding. 2. Listen with your eyes and ears, as well as with your gut. Remember that communication is more than just words. 3. Take time to understand as you try to be understood. In the rush to express ourselves, it's easy to forget that communication is a two-way street. Be open to what the other person might say. And finally, 4. Be aware of your personal perceptual filters. Elements of your experience, including your culture, community, and family, influence how you see the world. Say, "This is how I see the problem, but how do you see it?" Don't assume that your perception is the objective truth. That'll help you work towards sharing a dialogue with others to reach a common understanding together.
Yeah, I think everyone heard that. I think it's a great video because it really breaks down the importance of communication, as well as like listening to people, because it's not just about talking, it's about listening to people and understanding like their side of the story, having one side, yes, and everything else. Okay, so okay, so this actually Steve already covered, but I can reiterate it briefly. It's basically about setting goals, making sure that they're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and tied down. So an example would be like if you're talking about doing better in school, instead of saying I want to do better in school, or you can be more specific and say, I will raise my math grade from a B to an A minus by the end of the semester by studying 30 minutes a day. I think really like making it very specific and measurable can allow you to be more successful in achieving that goal. Yeah, I don't think I really need to say more on this because I think Steve covered it pretty well. Yeah, so both of these, like combining goal setting as well as communication skills, I think can really bring it together and allow someone to be successful, whether that's like in their personal life or academic. For example, if you're like working with people in a group project, you want to make sure you set goals for yourself and the group. But that also requires a lot of good communication to make sure that like nothing is lost or like make sure you guys are on the same page basically. For example, on student council, when I try to like pass proposals, I need to set goals within those proposals, but also delegate the tasks to other people in the council. So I really have to like use both of those skills when I'm doing that. So if you guys have a chance, like think about something that you do in your life where you can apply those skills together and how you can maximize your success within the next now. Yeah, so final thoughts is that number one, small steps lead to big growth. You're not always going to achieve every single last goal of yours, but if you keep working towards it, then you're more likely to be successful. Practice makes progress. Again, like it just takes time. And like for me, whenever I like, for example, public speaking, like I was never good at it. To be honest, I could still improve on it, but the more I do it, the better I get at it. And yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you like work towards your goals and can communicate well, then you're more likely to be successful. And here are some questions you can ask yourself, which is like, what's one goal you want to set this month? Again, Steve already covered a lot of this, but just thinking about things that you want to achieve will allow you to be more motivated and also productive. And then also, what's one thing you could do to improve how you communicate with others? So whether that's with your parents, your siblings, your friends, your teachers, anyone. Maybe it's the way you talk, or maybe it's just about thinking more before you say things. And also maintaining eye contact. Small things like that can really make a big change. Like I remember for me when I started like fixing the way I try to look at people, because before I would just like look down. But now that I know to like look people in the eye, I realize like not only do I come off more confident, but people also pay more attention to what I'm saying. If that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it.